Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P Funk. Thinking right out here. No, I'm not in the lab. I gotta get me some air conditioning out there so I can come inside so I don't look like a slave running away sweating like a pig out there. So I'm in a comfortable environment. It ain't the scenery, it ain't the background, it's the lesson. That's what we're gonna get to. Let's go. Rightism, 24 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. Message is story for life. I give life lessons. You tune in receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. You know what we do. Let's go. Right thinking mission. That's what I'm on. Is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinkers way of life through mental and spiritual discipline practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission, that's what I'm on, is to have all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal should be to know thyself. Let's work together, and make it happen. That's what I do for you. Let's go. So I asked the question, do you know you? It's rhetorical. But if you don't have the answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you out with that. That's what I do for you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not knows that they know not. They simple, but you teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here too. Wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself and always to my be true. I had to go back in my book. I want to give a lesson today. I'm going to break down right thinkers. Let's talk about breaking down religion and religious studies. I keep explaining, trying to get across. I don't do religion. I do spiritual concepts, philosophy. So I'm gonna break it down for you right quick. Let's go. Introduction or a breakdown to of religion and religious studies. Our ancient Egyptian religion they call Shitar Netta. Told you that many times. And its language and symbols provide what? The first historical record of mystical religion, mystical, not belief, and yoga philosophy, hence right thinking philosophy. And you also have religious literature, something to read, to study, to guide you, to help you out. That's what we got the books for. That's why I'm a bookworm. The information's right here. All you got to do is study it and then learn it and live it. You'll find it to be true for yourself. Egyptian yoga, Smai Tawi, is what has been commonly referred to by Egyptologists as Egyptian religion. Religion, I got definition for that coming up, but it's to be practiced when? Daily. So whatever your dogma, whatever your philosophy is, you should practice it daily. That's all I'm saying. So if you're a Christian, you practice Christian tenets daily. Muslim, same thing. It holds true for anything that you practice. Understand that. So let's go. It was commonly referred to as Egyptian religion or mythology. Yeah, but if you think of it as just as another set of stories or allegories, like that book y'all got, you are of a if you think it's just stories and allegories like that book that you got right now about a long lost civilization, you are completely missing the greatest secret of human existence: self knowledge. This unique perspective, and it is from what? The highest philosophical system which was developed in Africa over thousands of years ago. It provides a new way to look at life, aka religion, but is based on the disciplines of psychology and the way to what? Spiritual development leading to, you ready for this? Spiritual enlightenment. Egyptian mythology, when understood and practiced and mastered, will give you or every individual what? Insight into what? Their own divine nature, meaning yourself. And also what? A deeper insight into all religions and yoga systems. Because I have understanding of all religious practices, I don't have a problem fellowshipping with anybody and practicing their religion on their terms, in their home, on their backyard. I can go anywhere and be respectful and acquiesce to their situations. Why? Because I have knowledge of self. And those who wish to become right thinkers, we call you Shimsu Netters, and you what? You follow the Commission ancient Egyptian spiritual teachings. I don't make it up. And you are willing to become an initiate into the Shita Netta, aka right thinking philosophy, and Semi Tawi. And Shita Netta is the religion, and its mystic teachings are based on what? A varied tradition centered around one or more of the different gods and goddesses. Now, Smai Tawi are the yoga discipline. Again, 5 major categories. You master all of them, you'll be fine. And yoga disciplines and techniques or metaphysical technologies, even proven scientific facts, used to what? Transform a human being. They knew way back then how to transform you from ignorant to enlightened being. That's all we had. And these disciplines will promote a transformation. I use the caterpillar to butterfly analogy. Why? Because it promotes a transformation through what? A movement that purifies your personality and renders it subtle enough or simple enough to perceive what? The transcendental spiritual reality, which is beyond time and space, we call Nihas. When you reach that level of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself, that's considered Nihas, or better known as, you ready? Enlightenment, or better, resurrection. I got a lesson for that coming up too. Why? Because all three of those things, Nihas and enlightenment, resurrection, three different things mean the same thing. How about that? So I'll break that down for another lesson. But right now, this is a movement from what? Ignorance, darkness, whatever you want to call it, symbolically, to what? Enlightenment, light, knowledge, gnosis. It's the process you go through to get to that, okay? In this movement, from ignorance to enlightenment, from what? Mortality, thinking you're human, and weak to what? Immortality, knowing you are what? Part of the supreme being, and you discover that the absolute from which the gods and the goddesses and all creation arose, you are part of the creator of all. That's spiritual. If you're human, egoistic, you don't have a clue about your higher self, hence you're ignorant of yourself. This is a movement where towards what? Becoming one with, you pointing up, the universe and what? The consciousness behind it all, meaning God, which is what? Eternal and infinite. No beginning, no end, if you choose to, Alpha and Omega. But He is the one and you part of Him. Like a drop of water from the ocean, you part of the ocean. Metaphorically, conceptually, symbolically, okay, whatever you want to call it, but you have to get an understanding, and it's all about you raising yourself to be what? The best you can be. And this is the lofty goal of being initiated into a program or system. I came a Mason. I wanted the knowledge that the Masons had. I wanted what they had to offer. I came and I got it. Simple. I use it to this day. It still works. Okay, so I'm not against it. I just know other stuff now. Again, like religion, I know another one. That's all. Moving on. If you ain't know one, they say you don't know none. Variety is the spice of life. Sometimes it's best to know what he doing, and what he doing. They all doing the same thing. Okay? They don't know that. Why? They don't study other person's stuff. Moving on, another concept. But the purpose. Okay, where we at? So those who tread the path must be, you ready, mature and virtuous, as well as what? Strong mentally, physically, and more important, intellectually, meaning you will have gnosis, not belief system that you will follow, a philosophy that you can stand on, and more importantly, emotionally. Emotion, energy, and motion. If you feel it, you're going to act on it. You have to learn to control that part of yourself too, also. Okay? That's the ego. Okay? The purpose of the religion and the disciplines is to what? Promote purity of the heart and virtue. And these lead to higher realization and spiritual enlightenment. That's the purpose and that's the goal for us as humans in the flesh. Some of us beg to differ. That's fine. Some of us like being here, so they keep continuing to do things that's gonna keep them here. Not becoming conscious, not knowing yourself, you will guarantee your spot in what? Reincarnation. Let's go. Now, the next section will present an overview of Shita Netta and later the main traditions within Shita Netta spirituality will be presented. I done did that already and heard the lines what it is about, but right now I'm gonna slide over here to what? The purpose of religion as a spiritual path to what? Enlightenment and immortality. If you know who you are, become knowledge of self, reach the level of spiritual enlightenment, know thyself. You guarantee your ticket one way now, that way, not that way. That way is the reincarnation. This way is the one-way ticket back to where we come from. That's the concept. It's always been there. We started it. The term religion comes from the Latin word religare, which uses the word root re, broke it down for you before, which means back. Ligan, which means to hold, to link, to bind. They trying to get you to go back to your essence of who you are. You don't know yourself while you're in the flesh. You had to be taught. You had to be enlightened, instructed, initiated to what? Information that you need to help know who you are. It's here for a reason. Now, therefore, the essence of true religion. True religion is that what? Of linking back, specifically linking its followers back to what? Their original source and their innermost essence, God. But in this sense, the term religion and yoga are synonymous. Why? That source, which is the underlying reality behind every object in creation, is described as, you ready? Unborn, mean undying, eternal, and immortal. God is known by an endless number of names. Again, we don't fought wars over the different names that we call God. Everybody call him by a different name, but we don't unite and know that it's just one. So what name you call him don't really make a difference. You humanize him and make him no God other than me, all that nonsense. Again, you can believe what you want. They can tell you what they want. That's your choice. If your discernment, we talk about that too. My discernment kicks in at a certain time when if it ain't making sense, I'm not following it. Moving on. So discretion is always important. When you're learning, you can question what you're learning. If what it is, they can define it and bring it to you where you can understand it. So all these names we call God. Let's start with some conscious, consciousness, all conscious, self, the higher self, okay, God, Goddess, the supreme being, divine self, eternal self, soul, libertia, pure consciousness, Brahman, the all, Allah, Yahweh, Neteru, creator, absolute, divine, mother, great spirit. All these are names. They're saying the same thing about the same one God that they give a different name. That's fine, but it ain't but one. So these various names, while arising from various traditions that we go through time, that's okay, and from different cultures, again, in reality, represent the same divine and transcendental principle of what? God. Excuse me. All the qualities that we gave him still stands for him. They still make him him. But the names that we give him don't change him either. I asked the AI, did the Christian God, the Jewish guys, Hebrew guys, Yahweh, beat the Egyptian guys? He said, yeah. I said, really? So the Christian Yahweh beat Amen? It was funny. So, yeah, conceptually, this is what we draw in our mind. Although, understand this, religion, and when it's in its purest form, is what? Supposed to be a mystical system. They want you to have the myth, the ritual, and then the mysticism. That's the awakening. That's the third ingredient, third degree, whatever it makes me, that you have to acquire. Why? That's what makes it all work. The original intent and meaning of scripture are often misunderstood, misinterpreted, or either or distorted. Okay? This occurs when, because the various religions have developed and where different geographical areas, again, even in Egypt, Memphite, Westite, and Thebes had different philosophy, same thing, but different philosophy. So we know that, again, don't make a difference what you call them, it's still the same. Okay? And from geographical areas. And therefore, what? You have your lower level historical accounts, stories and traditions, folklore. Okay, that's been passed down, talked about. It ain't written nowhere. It ain't documented nowhere. It's just told. Okay, we get that. But that's why the Egyptians call Egypt the library of stone. Why? They documented everything so that you can have it for what? Prosperity. It's 5,000 years later. We're still using it. So they did it for a reason. And when you have developed, they all develop what? Pretty much independently. And sometimes without proper guidance, or they involved with political conflicts. Now, state and religion don't go together, and it often spill over into what? Religious practices, distorting it. Okay, now under these conditions, you got the inner meaning of the myths and the symbols have become lost, and now it's just exoteric folklore, meaning they're gonna talk about it and they're gonna give you the basic, stuff, not the esoteric, the hidden. That's what the Masons teach you, the hidden meaning behind stuff, and for a more noble and glorious purpose for yourself, which is fine. But they had to hide it to give it to those who want it. Because the general public, they don't care. They know that too. Or they play on that. Moving on. But you have folklore, meaning is emphasized just by what? Word of mouth, superstition. Stevie, get him. When you believe in things that you don't understand, superstitions, you will suffer. Now, and this leads to what? You ready? Deism. That means just words. That means just a bunch of nothing. And a phenomenon, while what? Now on the occurrence of facts, which is perceptible to, by the senses. It don't give you nothing except a bunch of feel-good stories, and which is fine. But let your Bible followers know these are just allegorical stories to tell a story to teach a lesson. Mythological, allegorical, zodiacal, all that, astronomy. Those are the things that's in the Bible, and that's what it's a book of. I understand, but how many people who read it, study, love it, don't have a clue? Is it you? Moving on, let me wrap this up again. Let me close it out. Where we at? Now, you lead to, okay, when you approach the religion, rather than it being a mystical and symbolic transcendental understanding, it's a bunch of just believe what we say because those who instituted want you to do just that. Believe what they say, not what is real. Our original ancestors had what was real. So that's the difference. Let me wrap it up. And right there, here we go, right now. Most religions tend to be dogmatic, theistic, where, and it's basically at the elementary level. Y'all just getting the top stuff, esoteric meaning of everything, not the understanding You have deism as a religious belief or a form of theism, also belief in the existence of a God or gods, holds that God's actions, watch this, was restricted in the initial act of creation. This is the Christian concept, after which he retired, separated. Ding, 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 ding. That's where my red flag go up. God separated himself from his creation to contemplate the majesty of his work. No! Sorry. No! Again. Deists hold, theological Christians hold that what? The Christian Catholic concept, Romans, they hold that the natural creation was regulated by laws. We said that already. Aspects and concepts. I gave elements. Earth, wind, and fire. We gave you all that. We know that. But watch this. They say laws that put in place by God. Okay, we got that. At the time of creation, we got that. Which are inscribed with perfect moral principles. We live by that. We got that. Therefore, deism is closely related to what? This basic esoteric or personal understanding of the divinity. That means elementary level. You still got no understanding. You just think you got some question. Oh, I believe that. I like that. It sounds good, feel good. And you don't understand. There's 3 levels to being a religious person. You have the myth, you have the ritual, and then you got the mysticism. That's the awakening. We told you that ancient time. So y'all got the concept, you just don't fully understand it. That's the lesson, right, thinkers? In closing, may you all let it be 100 and me 100 minus a day. So I never know that right thinker like you have passed away. Don't be religious, be spiritual.